Hang on, I look a bit weird. That's it. Good evening, I'm Bill Bailey, and welcome to a special Christmas edition of Have I Got News For You? It's not very Christmassy, is it? That'll do. In the news this week, in a cafe in Los Angeles, Anne Robinson admits her latest venture into plastic surgery may have been a step too far. In Westminster, before making a big speech to quash rumours of his personal incompetence, Gordon Brown...
Doesn't even need the picture.
I just like the way it's going.
Well, yes, well, here we go.
Okay.
Shall we do that again?
Yeah.
Let's pretend we haven't heard that.
Yeah.
In Westminster, before making a big speech to quash rumours of his personal incompetence, Gordon Brown smoothly buttons up his suit jacket. Yeah, see? Just do that. I can't... Oh, hang on. Just... And in the main hall at Sandringham, after a particularly boozy Christmas lunch, Camilla Parker Bowles tries to attach a sprig of mistletoe to the ceiling. On Ian Hislop's team is a comedian whose performances include a 2-week run at the Sydney Opera House in a booking mix-up that saw Jose Carreras die on his arse at the Banana Cabaret in Balham. Please welcome Mark Watson. And with Paul Merton is a Liberal Democrat MP who's in for a rare treat tonight. For once, he's going to finish in the top 2. Please welcome Charles Kennedy, MP. And we start with the bigger stories of the week.
Yeah.
Ian and Mark, what's going on here?
It's a bell tower.
Yep.
That's a very silly man.
This is the BBC trying to balance out the effect of having a sensible Lib Dem on. No, this is expenses, the story that won't go away.
What's the implication of what you just said, that you regard me as a sensible Lib Dem?
Yes, I'm sorry, that was almost pleasant. I must, must sharpen up. Expenses, you claimed all sorts of things, didn't you?
Charles.
That's better, Ian. Come on.
Yeah.
Get him! Fight!
You did claim some mints, didn't you?
And
Which is pretty shocking compared to 20,000 on a bell tower.
Well, these
Typical
extras...
Lib Dem, you can't even do big expenses.
It might have been extra strong mints, we don't know.
You claimed mints
it was
and
mint-
2 teddy bears.
And 2 teddy bears, yeah.
Which you gave away as prizes. Corrupt or what?
That is despicable. Taxpayers' money on bears and mints?
Yeah.
You disgust me.
And there were some poppies as well. They must have been worth a couple of p.
Opium? Was it opium?
Yes. Opium, bears and mints is...
Yeah,
it's a very sad story.
It's a Taliban Christmas list, isn't it? Who was this money grubber?
Oh, well, this is a proper story. This bell tower
Go on.
man is called Quentin Davis.
Yeah.
And Labour are furious because he defected from the Tories.
Yes.
Obviously, the sort of chap claiming for a bell tower was a Tory, but he's joined Labour and made them look stupid. So he's claimed £20,000 for this bell tower, and people are furious again. Every time the story goes to sleep, it wakes up again with a new revelation.
Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Nice bell tower.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah, and he said this, it's such a silly thing because it's all a joke. We all know I haven't done anything remotely wrong. He also defended his actions, saying he never expected to get the full £20,700 because he was so wealthy, saying, I recognise that my house is more expensive than most people's. Yeah, thanks for rubbing it in, Quentin. Yes, now you claim for teddy bears and mints, but you're not the only Liberal Democrat to have been enjoying himself at our expense. Lembit?
Lembit claimed a couple of weather girls.
The light bulb thing was a bit of a clue there.
Oh, he made a man change his light bulbs for him?
Yes, but the man came from Wales.
From Wales.
He came to London to work on his flat, fixing faulty lights and putting in a new bathroom pull cord and adjusting the dimmer settings, and charged the taxpayer £1,791 for the pleasure.
That's outrageous, getting someone from Wales. Most people get someone from Poland.
This is a headline in The Sun. They went with cheeky git. When he was going out with one of the cheeky girls, do you think they ever sort of swapped, you know, like one night? Here, I don't want to go out with creepy guy.
I think on a dark night, their mum went.
By the way, I'm sufficiently stupid. The producer of this programme pointed out to me. I'm the first MP to have agreed to come on, have I got news for you, since the expenses scandal erupted.
But you know what? You get our respect.
How, Charles, did you manage to resist the temptation? Why didn't you do it?
He was perfectly happy sucking on his mints. My breath is so fresh, I don't need a second home.
This was the excuse. Everyone was at it. It was all perfectly legal.
I'm not going to comment on colleagues.
A lot of them are going to have to retire. They'll be ex-colleagues.
Indeed.
Cheekily got out of that, but we'll edit it together so it looks like they were robbers.
It would just help if you just said those words now.
Can you just say the word thieving bastards? We'll mash it up over a drum and bass beat.
Yeah.
You'll be a YouTube sensation. Thieving bastards! I couldn't possibly comment. On the subject of outrageous MPs' behaviour, would anyone like to see a recent exchange in the Irish Parliament during a budget debate?
Yes,
Absolutely.
please.
Come on. You got to see this.
Yeah,
This is brilliant.
I respected your sincerity. I'd ask you respect mine. Well, all due respect in the most unparliamentary language. Fuck you, Deputy Stan. Fuck you. I apologise now for my use of unparliamentary language.
That is most unparliamentary language.
It is most unparliamentary language. I now withdraw it and apologise for it. I firmly believe that. And you respect my view. I didn't cause the economic mess. The point is, we are screwed as a country because of the wrongdoing of others.
There wasn't anyone there.
No.
So angry about it, and then at the end said, oh, well,
Why
sure, we'll just go
can't
to
the
the
House
pub
of
and
Commons
finish
be
this.
like that? I mean, it must be better, wouldn't it, if there
Why
was
can't our House of Commons have people saying we're screwed as a country?
It wouldn't happen here because no one admits that we have to make cuts. I mean, he was stupid enough to get up and say, you know, we're in amazing debt, we've got to cut all these services.
Well, see, he's talking about a recession, but that attitude is not helpful at all. See, over here, we're lucky to have got this man helping us get through the recession.
How does this region get out of recession? Oh, shit.
Cheer up.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's the latest expense claims. According to the Times, Welsh Secretary Peter Hain charged £293.75 for a tin roof on a log store, or as they call it in Wales, an extension. Meanwhile, in the Irish Parliament, Paul Goggerty launched a tirade of F-words at Labour opponent Emmett Stagg. To be fair, Mr Stagg has used a colourful phrase in the Irish Parliament himself, describing one tax proposal as like rubbing a fat pig's arse with lard, or as they call it in rural Ireland, foreplay. So, Paul and Charles, here's yours.
OK.
Right.
Yes, obviously, Tony Blair and Fern Britton enjoying a...
Cup of tea or something.
Oh, look at that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a
Scary.
bit mad, I am.
Yeah. That's the No to Blair Day.
Yes.
That was Bring Back Fern.
This is Tony
that
Blair
is.
being interviewed on Sunday morning TV, going for the hard-hitting political interview, I think, wasn't he?
Yes, softening up before he appears before the Chilcot inquiry into the causes of the war in Iraq at the beginning of next year. And now we know, we have it from the horse's mouth, that it wouldn't have mattered who said what was the case, what wasn't the case. He'd done it anyway.
Absolutely.
Which kind of makes the entire argument that all those million people that I spoke to, among with many others that day in London, irrelevant.
Are you going to come out and say, I told you so? Because you should
Come
do,
on,
really,
you should.
as the leader of the opposition against the war at the time.
And then say, no, 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 no.
You know, me, Ian, a bit modest when it comes to that sort of thing, you know. My ambition is to come second on this show, you know. I mean, it's leading first.
You want to come first?
Please.
Please.
You got a brown envelope?
Have I got what?
A brown envelope.
I can fix one. Get receipt and claim it back.
All right. This is it. This is the Tony Blair, the gloves off, the no-holds-barred appearance before the Fern Britain inquiry.
I like the cup of tea gesture, you know. I wonder if he takes a taster with him these days.
He was going to give evidence in secret to a proper inquiry, and then he goes on telly with Fern Britain and just blabs the lot.
Yeah. 1 cup of scopolamine, the truth drug. There you go, Tony. According to a headline in the Times, Blair would have gone to war without Iraqi WMD. What do you mean, would have? He did.
I mean, is it the bottom of all this, the fact that sort of Tony Blair prized the fact that we were, you know, America's the only superpower left, that we are their, you know, that we like to believe we're their closest ally? I mean, what the Americans think is a different thing altogether. So,
all these old civil servants were saying exactly that. What Tony really liked was posing around looking powerful.
Yeah.
Saying, good morning, W. That's a brilliant idea, sir.
Yeah.
Let's go in.
It was like us hanging around America like some nerdy kid with a bully. You know, America going up to kids going, give us your sweets. And we look rugby and go, yeah. Yeah, come on, because we want to. And also this week, Sir Ken MacDonald, Director of Public Prosecutions under Blair, pulled no punches during his evidence to the inquiry. What did he have to say?
He said it was a constitutional disgrace. It was one of the worst things that had happened in British foreign policy since Suez.
he said that Blair stank as well.
Yeah.
He really put the boot in. He actually said he accused Blair of self-aggrandisement and sycophancy towards Washington. And he went on. It is now very difficult to avoid the conclusion that Tony Blair engaged in an alarming subterfuge with his partner George Bush and went on to mislead the British people into a deadly war they had made perfectly clear they did not want. Since those sorry days, we have frequently heard him repeating the self-regarding mantra that, hand on heart, I only did what I thought was right. But this is a narcissist's defence, and self-belief is no answer to misjudgment. It is certainly no answer to death. Anyway, all the best to Sherry and the kids. Hope to see you in the new year. Love, Ken and Margaret.
Anyway, go on, Ian. Say it again.
What?
I was right. Go on, ladies and gentlemen. What wasn't I? I was right.
You were right.
Yeah,
Yes.
Everybody wish you a happy Christmas and I'll see you.
Meanwhile, as Fern Britain was talking to Tony Blair, who were Newsnight interviewing?
Simon Cowell.
They were.
Yes.
They were, actually.
I think there's 2 taxi drivers who delivered the wrong guest to the wrong programme.
Right, isn't it?
OK.
Because, like I said, now there are so many really, really, really hot topics. And
like
I think,
what?
well, for instance, should we or should we be in Iraq and Afghanistan? If you actually asked most people in the country, why are we there? I couldn't even tell you. I don't know why we're there.
I like to use the word even. Even I don't know. God, Simon Cowell can't explain British foreign policy. Then what chance has anyone?
That's like God shrugging his shoulders.
Meanwhile, Gordon Brown went to Afghanistan. Let's have a look at him arriving. Not taking any chances.
Not exactly Churchill, is it?
That's just Gatwick. He was there to press the flesh, as they say. Let's have a look how he got on.
It's a friend of John Prescott's.
And here he is again, trying to shake hands. painful, isn't it? This is the latest inquiry into the latest Iraq war and Tony Blair's latest attempt to justify it. Of course, Fern Britain also once misled the people of this country, the only difference being her gastric band did exist. According to The Independent on Sunday, the news that Tony Blair would give some evidence to the inquiry in secret caused outrage amongst senior politicians. Liberal Democrat leader Nick Clegg condemned the move, as did senior politicians. When Gordon Brown landed in Afghanistan this week, British troops were amazed. It was their first sight of a working helicopter. Ian and Mark, what's going on here?
Well, this is comedy gold.
A bit of legitimate protest. Kick him off.
Yeah.
Bears dancing.
They're about to be attacked. Gordon's arrived at the summit.
Someone's done up his jacket for him this time.
And there's Arnie. He's come back from the future. And he's come from the past. It's Copenhagen. This is a great story because we've timed it so the conference hasn't finished when we're recording. So when this goes out, the world may well have ended. No, I mean, if you're watching this on the repeat and a giant tsunami has hit New York, I'm very sorry.
If that has happened, then that will seem like a very dark joke indeed.
No, yeah.
Who flew in unexpectedly?
Schwarzenegger was meant to go, wasn't he?
Yes. Well, it was actually Gordon. 2 days early.
Right.
And what was the immediate effect, according to the Telegraph?
Of Gordon Brown going?
Yes.
Nothing.
Apparently, according to the Telegraph, snow and bitterly cold temperatures arrived.
That was very selfless of him in that case.
Or, as The Guardian put it, he immediately cast a gloomy pall.
But he went 2 days early because apparently the chairmanship of this conference is so sloppy that there's no verdict been reached, unless it has, and you're watching this later.
Of course, the other point is, by going 2 days early, he didn't have to do the last Prime Minister's question time before Christmas at the House of Commons.
You're extraordinarily cynical, Charles, aren't you?
And he left it to Harriet Harman instead.
Are you suggesting he deliberately avoided a confrontation?
You may say that. I couldn't possibly comment.
Did you do Christmassy stuff at the last question time before Christmas?
They can wear their own clothes, can't they?
Yeah.
Gordon also said that combating climate change was the moral equivalent to the abolition of slavery or the fighting of 2 world wars. Now, that's upset a few people. George Batts of the Normandy Veterans Association told the Mail, "It's a bit weird and frankly idiotic to make such a link. There must be better comparisons out there. There aren't. Simply that."
No.
It'll be a headline in the Daily Mail next week. Yeah. Comparisons dry up in Britain.
The official spokesman said this is like, you know, and that thing.
Arnie was there too. And who flew in with Arnie? Oh,
John Prescott.
John Prescott, exactly.
The most unlikely combination of people to imagine.
Well, he's got a new role. Do you know what his role is?
He's a bouncer.
He is a rapporteur.
Yeah.
For the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe. Now, do you know who this bloke is? He probably attended.
Is he a journalist?
He is a Dutch delegate. Here is his name. Mr. Tiny Cox.
Only there was some sort of joke we can make about that.
Look at his face. He's thought, yes, you know what? I have heard all the jokes already.
I know.
Yes. Oh, ha, 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 ha. Tiny Cox. Who won't be attending the summit, even if he was bothered about climate change?
Jeremy Clarkson?
No. He's been smacked around the head with something.
Yeah.
So,
oh, Berlusconi?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's got a souvenir of Milan written on his forehead.
14 euros.
Exactly. Yeah. They can just stick it to the souvenir of Milan now, can't they? A little Berlusconi with blood coming out. It can be an adjunct to the actual building.
They have.
Have they?
There's already a souvenir
Yes.
out, which is Berlusconi with the cathedral in his head.
Yeah, there we go. Look at that.
Oh, really?
Look, they actually have got them.
That's wonderful.
That is merchandising at its finest.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
A brilliant bit of metaphor, literally, to get a cathedral and just ram it in his head. But anyway, he's now gone up in the polls. And a lot of politicians over here are thinking about it. Gordon, should I get attacked with a big replica of Brighton Pier.
He'd been doing, as you say, he'd been boasting about the fact that he was still young and virile. He said, "Look at me, I'm still young. I'm not even wearing a vest." And then apparently he jumped on a car and they said, "Leave it, Silvio, he's not worth it."
It doesn't even make sense saying I'm still young, I'm not wearing a vest. It's when you are young that your mum makes you wear a vest. If he wanted to prove he was youthful, he should have put on a vest and gone to school.
What a vest? I know, I suppose they protect your nipples if you go jogging. Right, anyway, So, yeah, you're right. This is the climate change conference in Copenhagen, where the message was the planet is doomed unless we all drastically reduce our energy usage. There we go. We're doing our bit. Hey, that's 5 more minutes for the polar bears. Also this week, Silvio Berlusconi was attacked on the streets by a complete stranger. A man with a history of mental illness, Berlusconi has been Prime Minister for several years. According to The Sun, Gordon Brown sent a message of sympathy, personally handwritten, to Silvio Berlusconi. During his stay in hospital, Berlusconi has shown his broken teeth and split lip to numerous doctors, and in a completely unrelated incident, his penis to a nurse. Charles, here's another one for you.
Oh, yes, right, yes. I saw this during the week. That's it. Octopus and coconuts.
Yeah.
It's not a new pub in Fulham, the Octopus and Coconuts. It's in Australian waters. They've observed octopuses doing this rather unusual thing. There are sort of halves of coconut are sort of just dropped into the sea, and these octopuses have started sort of using them as tools and dragging them across the ocean bed, making little shelters out of them. And this is the first time an octopus has been seen to do this. One of them has actually ended up running a casino in Blackpool. It's very popular, you know, it spins 8 roulette wheels at the same time. So
Let's have a look at the clip here. Here we go. He's sort of, like, they're on his stilts like that because he's carrying a coconut shell.
Look at that's clever, isn't it?
See, that is brilliant.
Mind you, whoever buys that coconut's in for a bit of a shock.
The filming was organised by Museum Victoria in Melbourne. One of the scientists was interviewed about how excited they were when they witnessed this behaviour for the first time. He said, "We were so blown away, I almost flooded my scuba mask." Do you know how many lobes an octopus has?
Lobes?
Lobes.
6.
No.
8.
No.
15,000.
No.
86.
Lower, lower, lower.
84.
Lower. 82. No. Lower.
50.
50!
To be fair, I was cheating. I've got one under the desk. I've just been counting.
And what else can they do?
They're pretty good at arm wrestling.
They can open screw-top jars.
That's more than most humans can do.
They get many of them down there.
Well, you know... Oh, I fancy a gherkin with this. There's a species of octopus called the mimic octopus.
Oh, yes.
Which does impressions
Ronnie Corbett,
of
things
other
like that.
species.
I'm doing impressions of other species.
Of other species, yeah.
What, like an elk or something? Swimming a seahorse swim, that's an elk coming towards me.
All right, let's talk about some other animals. What can the Chinese cat Meow Me do that has made her an internet star?
Can it sort of tap sort of meaningless messages on a keyboard?
No, it's more sort of unpleasantly visceral than that.
Oh. Unpleasantly visceral?
Yeah.
Can it crack down on dissent?
Yes, it ties up mice and makes them undergo a sort of Maoist sense of self-criticism.
Meowist, you might say.
Meowist. No, she's learned to use her owner's toilet. That's it. She even flushes it. Look, it is disgusting. Look at that. I mean, this is horrible.
That's a cat that's been placed there.
No. It looks like it's shitting down a pharaoh's neck now, doesn't it? The news that sea creatures can use tools raises the intriguing possibility the stingray that killed Steve Irwin was actually using a nail gun to finish off a bookcase. So, at the end of that round, it's 2 points each.
2 points each. Very good.
Well, hang on in there.
OK, and so to round 2. As it's Christmas, there's a festive flavour to the round this week. So stand by for my giblets of news.
Do you know what this is, Charles?
No, I don't, as a matter of fact.
Something about you, about your physical manifestation.
I've got red hair.
Yes.
Right.
Ah, yeah, you're very close now, you're on it.
Right.
So Tesco are banning red-haired people.
There was a redhead story, one of these usual things about redheads being discriminated against.
Yes, that's it, yes. Then what it is...
I'll never shop there again.
Well, no. Before, hold your horses.
I've always been a Sainsbury's man myself.
I saw you more as a kind of little sort of guy. But, this is the news that Tesco, on the card, have withdrawn a Christmas card after customers complained that it was offensive to ginger people.
What, of me?
No. Oh, look, this is the card.
Santa loves all kids, even ginger ones.
Yeah. York resident Davina Phillips felt the card was discrimination, adding that she didn't really get the joke. Yeah, you see, what it is ginger people are funny, right? So, No. According to the Telegraph, the supermarket claimed the cards had been placed on the shelves by an outside agent. Here's a picture in the Metro newspaper helping us to understand what a ginger person may look like. Yeah, also, Virgin TV was censored by the Advertising Standards Authority after advertising a show called Dating in the Dark by asking, how do you spot a ginger in the dark? Charles, you'd be glad to know that the Advertising Standards Authority have ruled on this, and this is the first time they have upheld a complaint about the ill treatment of ginger people in its 47-year-old history. So, this is a big moment for your people. This is like a Martin Luther King moment.
I'm glad that I was able to raise the outrage that was out there in this country about the discrimination against us ginger-headed people, and by God, it won't happen again, and you heard it here first.
Yes! Fingers on buzzers, teams. Here's... Oh, no, not yet!
You said fingers on buzzers?
Oh, no, well, obviously, when asked a question, here's another giblet of news for you.
There's obviously Brian Blessed and what's her name, Pamela Anderson from Baywatch. She's doing pantomime this year for about 3 performances at Wimbledon. Mixed reviews. I saw some very good review. I saw another review which wasn't very good. Brian Blessed apparently was given a quote when he went into Wimbledon Theatre, and he said it's an absolute outrage. Like that. And the kid only wanted an autograph, you know.
The Daily Mail's theatre critic and chief pervert, Quentin Letts, was obviously impressed. He wrote, "She's still perky enough to represent a challenge to that old panto cry behind you, because with Pamela, they are most definitely in front of you." You see what he's done there?
Unfortunately, yes.
Ticket sales have soared 800% when Pammy signed up. Audiences have enjoyed her performance. Chardonnay, a schoolgirl from Putney, said, "She was very good." Melody, a fellow pupil, said, "I saw it last year with Ruby Wax, she was funnier." And a beaming father emerged saying, "Pamela was excellent." As you say, not everyone's excited. Brian Blessed, he's not too impressed.
I don't think he rates her as an actress.
No. He actually said, "I'd start alongside Sophia Loren. What the fuck is all that about Pamela Anderson? What is all that about? Pamela fucking Anderson? I wouldn't touch her with yours."
And I believe there's some Boy Scouts in from Woking.
OK, fingers on buzzers. Here's another one for you. Buzz when you know what it is. Oh, go on, Paul.
Oh, OK, I think, just trying to picture this, carol singers, and there's a man there with a clipboard, which
is it a health and safety
story? Thing, yes. It's about what you... As carol singers, certain rules you must obey to make sure you mustn't start singing in the middle of a motorway. And you must never bet in a casino that's run by an octopus. He'll always favour his own kind.
That's pretty much it, actually.
Is it?
Yes. Yeah, a health and safety guide has been produced for carol singers by an insurance company. Where does the guide say you should never sing carols? You're absolutely right on the first one.
In the middle of the road?
Yeah, never sing in the road. Seems obvious, but, you know, some people obviously have done that. Another pearl of wisdom, don't carry large amounts of cash. If your donations are stacking up, make provision to drop it off or have someone collect it from you.
What sort of carol singers are these?
It's got a drug deal, isn't it, really? Actually, if you are drug dealing, maybe liven it up with a bit of carol singing. On the subject of carols...
Yeah.
There you go. Right.
That's Ilkley Moor Bartat.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
And
I
why am I
recognise that.
playing on Ilkley Moor Bartat?
You've got an advertising campaign coming up for hats in Yorkshire.
Don't be cold this winter. We're out on Bald Head.
That's the one.
That one. That's the one. No, it's not that.
It's not that.
No. Well, but I'll tell you what it is. This is it. According to hymnologist...
Someone who studies hymns. Not that hard, is it?
Well, yeah, but... What?
Yeah.
A hymnologist,
Yeah.
Professor Jeremy Dibble, from the University of Maydupury, formerly the Polytechnic of what? The popular Christmas carol, While Shepherds Watch Their Flocks, can be traced back to the 16th century and you can actually sing it to the tune of On Ilkley Moor Bartat.
Oh, really?
While shepherds watch their flocks by night, but by night, all seated underground. Just me, then. Just me. It's just charting a musical history back to the 16th century. Jeremy Dibble, that's his life's work.
Was he related to the policeman in Top Cat?
Yeah.
Officer Dibble?
Yeah.
Is that his brother?
It's a reclusive stepbrother. Oh, yeah. Hey, Jeremy, you coming out tonight? No, I'm working on my hymns. OK. Which other old chestnuts have been given a roasting by the BBC this week? Oh, yeah, you should know this.
There was a list...
Yes.
Compiled by the BBC about its presenters, and it ranked them all in order.
Yep.
From desirable through to average, where Paul Merton and Ian Hislop featured.
I can help but feel I've overachieved.
Down to the people who were rated by the BBC as hopeless and useless, like Michael Palin and Delia Smith.
That's right, yes, they got a bit of a slagging. It says here, Delia Smith and Michael Palin, who were ranked in the lowest category titled Occasional Sparkle but Limited Appeal. Yeah, but whereas the sparkling Alan Yentob, one of the dullest men... No, I mean, and Andrew Marr, and my favourite, the hairy bikers. They're at the top of the list. They're not bikers. They don't even cook. They're just beardy blokes who go around. They're virtual tramps.
I think people were thinking, this is a bit rich, you're having a go at someone with a beard that looks a bit like a tramp.
Yeah, true, that's true. Yeah. This is a health and safety guide for carol singers. According to the carol singing guide, nowadays, 1 person in 5 is too mean to open the door to carol singers.
Don't you look at the Scotsman, mate, when it comes to... And I've got red hair, so stop picking on me.
OK, it's time now for the Missing Words round, which this week features as its guest publication, Forecourt Trader, because nothing says Christmas like a Ginster's pasty and a bunch of knackered flowers. And we start with, Ginster's solves problem of what with what?
Is it Ginster solves problem of ungrammatical name with apostrophe?
Solves problem of no ham in pie with ham in pie. Solves problem of Middle East with cheese flan.
Oh, no. It's actually solves problem of providing all-day breakfasts with all-day breakfast roll. According to the Forecourt Trader, breakfast means different things to different people. Eggs and bacon at the weekend, yoghurt and fruit if you're watching your weight, a croissant and coffee if you're in a hurry, and a fag and a whiskey if you're Scottish. So... Next!
You're doing well to rise above it, I think.
Oh, I know. He's got his Tesco smile on.
God, I've got a persecution complex. I'm just paranoid, that's all.
Have a mint.
Next, I give myself what, says Obama.
Goosebumps when I talk.
I'll give myself a fright by putting a bedsheet over my head.
It's a B+ for my first year in office. This was a special political interview in which he answered questions put to him by Oprah Winfrey. Who does she think she is? Firm Britain? Don't forget to what at the International Forecourt and Fuel Equipment Show?
Kill yourself.
Come to the car wash meeting.
Oh.
Next, crack. That's what in monkey speak?
Top Gear.
Is it cocaine?
No, it's actually... It's what a monkey might encounter.
Oh, a loft extension.
A hazard that a monkey might encounter. Swinging from the tree.
A tiger in an airing cupboard. Tarzan.
A ginger person.
Crack!
Crack! Coconut nut coming down.
Something else made of
Wood.
wood.
Leaves, tree, wood, wolf. A wolf. Wolf falling out of wood.
No, a falling branch.
A branch coming down,
falling
yeah.
branch.
Oh.
This is an article in The Independent about scientists who claim to have deciphered monkey talk. Hock means, look, it's an eagle. Crackoo means, look out, falling tree. And boom, boom, crackle, crackle means the octopus has nicked my coconut. Using what brightens up your day?
Sunshine.
Using the new BP toilets brightens up your day.
If you're having a really bad day.
Well, good old BP, ruthless exploiters of the Earth's natural resources, but they're giving us nice bogs, swings and roundabouts. So, the final scores are Ian and Mark have 5, Paul and Charles have 6.
Oh.
You see? But before we go, there's just time for the caption competition.
Gentlemen, we have heard reports of another sex.
On which note we say thank you to our panellists, Ian Hislop, Mark Watson, Paul Merton and Charles Kennedy. And I leave you with news that in Surrey, Ronnie Corbett's daughter arrives just in time to carry out a successful last-minute rescue. Outside Richmond Theatre, the actress playing Goldilocks in this year's panto pulls out, citing sexual harassment. And in Westminster, after a particularly heavy lunch, one man has his favourite daydream, where he saves the world and everyone loves him. Good night.
It was one of the biggest news stories of the year, the death of Michael Jackson. And next on BBC Two, we remember the King of Pop in 3 special programmes.
I must kill the Prime Minister.
What a way to end a decade, eh?